You are in the temple of the rants, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one is for Shadower, who says, Depression and suicide. What are your thoughts on these two subjects, and what do you think people need to overcome depression? Do you believe there is a legitimate solution? I know you would never advocate it, but do you think suicide is ever a viable option, such as if one's life has no meaning or is not improved after countless efforts? Sorry for the paragraph, but I've always found peace and interesting in listening to your decompression chamber series and have wanted to know your opinion/answer to these questions. So, I was depressed and very suicidal for a very long time, pretty much from like 14 to 21 ish, 20, we'll say. And the thing is that, like, when you are in a depressive state, it doesn't really feel like there is any way out of it, and it feels like you're trying everything and nothing's working. But like, and it's hard to keep trying, because if it continually doesn't work, you feel worse and worse. You feel like you're even more broken. But like, there are just so many things to try that I think it's worth not giving up, because you really got to keep trying. You just really got to keep pushing it, because if you do get out of it, it will have been worth it. You know, if you manage to escape, you will be glad that you did, and glad that you have found, a lease on life in whatever way. But, like, it's not easy, and, like, a lot of the things you try are in themselves complicated or could take a long time. So, like, for instance, if I were to, like, just try to go through everything that was wrong in my life, it's like I had social anxiety, not a lot of friends, doing poorly in school when I was really worried about, doing poorly in school, having a lot of ambition of things I wanted to be able to do, but then not succeeding at doing those things, being out of shape and unhealthy. And, like, some of these are bigger deals than you might think. Like, if you are unhealthy, you're way more likely to be depressed. If you get healthy, you are way more likely to have the energy to do something about it. So, like, I would say baseline for anybody, start exercising if you are depressed. Start getting out. Stop eating fast food and drinking soda. Like, fix your diet and exercise. And that will at least make your body feel better, which is a huge help, in being able to feel like you have the energy to pursue other things. And, it's not easy to do that. Like, it's not easy to just start exercising, start dieting, especially if you're really overweight or really unhealthy. But, like, if you can put in the work into doing that, it will at least prove that you can put in work into something. And, like, I would say, do that for 6 months before you even worry about the next step, at least. Like, be every other day, either, just at least go for a walk, try to build it up to a jog. There's couch to 5K guides online you can look at. Just get your blood flowing, get your body feeling better, and that'll be a great first step. And then from there, once you've built up some of that energy, then, start looking for something to apply that energy towards. And don't be worried about what everybody else thinks you should do or what makes the most sense in society. Worry about, like, what do I want to do? Because, like, if you keep forcing yourself to just do another thing that you're not interested in, you're never going to escape the cycle. Like, if you just go, like, let's say you graduate high school, you're depressed, your parents want you to go to college, you have no idea what you want to major in, you're not interested in college, you're just going because you think you have to. Don't go to college. Just go fucking get a regular job somewhere, because it's more fun. Like, working a job is way more satisfying than going to college. And I know it seems like it would be harder for some reason, but, like, it's not. Entry-level jobs are easy as shit. They are, you get something out of doing it because you get money, and having money makes you feel better. So, like, even if you just have to get a job at Target like I did, just go do that, and you will, you'll feel like the time you're spending is for something, because you'll have this money. And even if you don't know what to spend your money on, just save it up, because having a lot of money saved up is also a great way to be able to pursue things in your future. Like, let's say that, you're still living at home, Your parents don't kick you out. Maybe they do. If you get a job at Target, you might not have enough to live on your own in a nice place. You'll probably have to get a shitty apartment or room with someone. Depends on where you live. But, like, if you can stay at home, you'll be in much better shape. But, like, if you can save up money for a long enough time that you spend that time at work trying to figure out what you want to do with yourself, and then you go and do it. Like, let's say you go to college, you put yourself into debt, or you spend a whole lot of money, and then you don't end up wanting to do anything at college. You find what you want to do and you go to do that. You're in all this debt. You go get a job and you spend that time figuring out what you want to do, and then you decide to go do that. You have a bunch of money that you don't even have to work for a while because you have all this money saved up. So, like, I would say just throwing yourself into doing something will, again, it's about, like, getting that energy, getting your blood moving, getting your brain moving. If you have time, if you're doing, like, a repetitive task at work, you have time to think about things. You have time to consider what you want to do when you get home, what you want to do, going forward from that point. And then, anything you're interested in, pursue it. Even if it seems like something you can't do or that you're afraid to try it anyways. And if you like it, don't stop. Don't worry about if you're good. Just do it if you like it. If you don't like it, stop doing it. Like, if you think you want to be a writer, but you don't enjoy writing, like, if you don't find yourself compelled to do it day after day, don't try to be a writer. If you start, let's say, making YouTube videos or something and nobody's watching them, but it's super fun for you to do it, just keep doing it because it will help with your depression. You will feel better because you're doing something you enjoy in the time you have. And so, like, I think all of these are great self-help methods. I would also say, try to get your sleeping under control. Like, try to have a life where you have some degree of, like, formality, I guess, like something you do every day, just like more of a structure in your life that often helps. And again, don't give up on anything unless it sucks, unless it's making you feel worse. Like, don't try to force yourself into doing something just because you think it seems like the right idea if it sucks and it's not getting you anywhere. Like, do things you're interested in that make you feel good. If all of that's not working, if you can consult a professional and potentially find a medication that might work for you, that's also a good option. Not every medication works on every person who they try it. I mean, basically, it's a fucking crapshoot which medication is going to work on you. So probably you'll go through multiple before you find one that actually works. And it might even make you feel worse. If it does, get off it as fast as possible. Just have open communication with the people who you're, who are trying to medicate you. Personally for me, I've been depressed for a long time. I tried to get out of it different ways that I had read about or knew about. None of those worked. But I didn't really put that strong of an effort into the things that I'm talking about, like the things that I'm saying you should do. I did not work out. I did not take care of my body. I did not go and get a job. I sat around and was a worthless NEET, or a shitty college student who didn't do my work in school. I just was fucking depressed and out of it. And when I saw a psychiatrist, when I got medicated, it did not make me not depressed. It just made me indifferent. It made me not care so much about the things that were weighing me down. But I was just a NEET for a year and a half after I got on the medication. What finally made me feel better as a person was when I started pursuing something. And, I decided to pursue YouTube because it seemed like a way I could make money doing anime blogging, which is something that I just naturally did. I just loved doing it, and I did it all the time. So then, once I had that piece of drive, that was when I went and got a job. That was when I started taking care of my body better. That was when, I was inspired to try to pursue this thing, and that made me no longer feel any of those feelings of depression. I felt happy because I was dedicated to something, but it didn't come easily or just immediately. It was always a process. So, just don't think that any one thing, you're just going to try it and you're going to not be depressed anymore. That is not going to be the case. You probably have to do a bunch of things over a long period of time. But, I haven't ever met somebody who made a claim like, "Oh, I've tried everything," and they had actually tried everything. Like, I've never heard of somebody who's like, "Oh, I want to kill myself because I tried everything and I'm still depressed." And then you go down the list of all the things I just said and they've done all of that. I have not seen this. Or if people claim that they've done all of that, they might say, "Oh, well, I tried working out." Oh yeah, how long did you do it for? How long did you keep it up? Did you actually lose any weight? Well, no, I didn't. Okay, well then you were doing it wrong. Were you eating fewer calories than than 2,000 a day? Were you actually running for an hour every other day? Like, what were you doing? Because if you failed, you were doing it wrong. Because you know, physical activity works 100% of the time on at least getting you to be more physical. So you just gotta do it right. So I would say, yeah, like, legitimately, try everything, do it to the best of your ability, and then, you know, if you can't bring yourself to try, consider medication. If the medication puts you in a headspace where you can try, then you should try. But I don't know. I personally don't think suicide is ever really a viable option. I just think I understand why people do it, and it's not like I necessarily, blame them. I just think, well, you could have done something else. You always can change yourself. You always can do something else. You just have to believe in your ability to do it as the first and foremost thing. So, that's my advice.